Just 1 second while I fix this screen here. Okay, hello Algebra students. Welcome to online learning here. So this will be the format I think that we'll be using for the remainder of the quarter. I encourage you to write notes, copy the things that I have written down as I go in a notebook or something like that, and then it will help you answer the questions at the end of the slideshow. Okay, so the idea is to review the things that we've already learned. And so I'm starting back at chapter 3 with us because we don't have enough time to do every single thing. And I've chosen what I feel are the most important. So where I'm going to start us was the new material for the year, and that was when we were solving inequalities and graphing them. Now, on the Google Slides, you're not going to be able to graph the inequalities even though there's graphs on there. So I will only be looking at your answer to the inequality on the last slide. Okay, so what I have here, I'm going to switch out of this side by side so that you can get a full screen. I just want to remind you, just even though we're not graphing, that if you have less than or greater than, you would graph it with an open circle. If you have less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, you use a closed circle. And the other main thing I want to remind you is if you multiply or divide by a negative, you need to flip the inequality. So you can solve all inequalities with charts if you want to, or traditionally. So I am going to start you with this first example here. It says 4x plus 1 minus 1 is greater than or equal to negative 8. Now, disclaimer, there are no parentheses in there, so you could start this with a chart right away. I am going to show you that you can make your life a little bit simpler here without that by combining like terms. So you can only combine like terms if they're on the same side of the inequality. So this 1 and negative 1 are both on the left-hand side, so you can put those together right away. Positive 1 minus 1 is 0. So what you really have is 4x is greater than or equal to negative 8. And so this is like you're at the bottom of the chart already, and the last step in the bottom of the chart is going to be to divide by the number next to x. So we're going to divide this side by 4 to get rid of it. We're going to divide this side by 4 to get a new answer. And since we divided by a positive, not a negative, we're going to leave that inequality facing the same way. So you get x, I'm going to put it over here, is greater than or equal to negative 8 divided by 4 would be negative 2. I know the answer comes out negative, but what we divided by was positive. That's why we didn't flip it. So this would be the answer. If you are to graph that, and I'm putting this in here because you are going to need to know this for next year and possibly on the SAT at some point, what you would do is you would find negative 2, and since this is a greater than or equal to, we're going to close the circle around that, and then you're going to point the arrow in the direction that it's pointing here. So this says x is greater than or equal to negative 2. Well, everything greater than or equal to negative 2 is to the right. Also, remember, I showed you guys this earlier this year, that this makes a little arrow, and it's also pointing in that direction. That arrow trick only works if your x is on the left-hand side, though. If it's on the right, it would be opposite. Okay, so getting a little tougher as we go down. Here's the next inequality. You must get rid of parentheses before you do anything else, no matter how you decide to solve it. So to get rid of parentheses, we need to distribute. So this 3 is not part of the distribution, so I know I'm going to use that still. I'm going to put that down. But negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And then negative 2 times negative 4 would give us positive 8 is greater than negative 1. Okay, and so you can do this one of two ways again. So traditional way is to look, everything is on the left side. You could combine your like terms and then move on with solving. Or you can use Miss Richards' way, and that is to use a chart right away. So you would draw a line down your inequality, draw a line underneath. X's are on the left, numbers are on the right. Okay, so 3 is going to go over to this side and become negative. Negative 2x gets to stay. 8 becomes negative 8 over here. Negative 1 gets to stay. Don't forget, this is an inequality, so you need to write the inequality back down at the end. Oops, I did that in the wrong spot. So I'm going to add these up. Sorry about that. Negative 2x plus nothing is negative 2x on the left. I ran out of space. Negative 3 plus negative 8 plus negative 1 is going to be negative 12. All right, keep your inequality the same way it was going so that it's greater than. We do have one more step at the end, and we need to divide by negative 2. So we are now dividing by a negative, which means that our final answer, we're going to take this inequality and we are going to flip it. So it's x is less than negative 2 divided by negative 12 divided by negative 2 is 6, like that. So this is your answer. This is what I'll be looking for on Google Slides. To graph that, just so you know and you remember, you would put an open circle around the 6, and everything x is less than 6, so we're going to point that to our left this time. And again, since we set our charts up so that x's are on the left, the little cheat works every time when you use the chart. So it's pointing that direction anyway. Okay, last but not least then, it is just a longer version of everything we've been doing. So this time there are 2 sets of parentheses, so you need to distribute twice. So 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times negative 4x is negative 8x. Negative 2 times x, don't forget to put your inequality down, is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. And this minus 4 gets to stay on. Again, you can combine like terms only on this side because this side doesn't have them, or you can do a chart right away. Since you guys are familiar with the chart, I'm going to go ahead and use that method again. X is on the left, numbers on the right. All right, so 2 needs to become negative 2. Negative 8x stays. Negative 2x would become positive 2x. Negative 6 stays, and negative 4 stays. Ooh, I made myself enough space this time. So in the end, negative 8x plus 2x is negative 6x. Keep your inequality the same way for right now. Negative 2 plus negative 6 plus negative 4 is going to give us negative 12. And in the end, we're going to divide by negative 6, which means we are going to flip that inequality the other way. Negative 12 divided by negative 6 is going to be positive 2. Here's your answer. And if you were to graph that, you're going to put an open circle this time around the 2. And it is going to be pointing to the right because x is greater than 2. Everything's greater than 2 to the right. Also, we use the chart, and so we get to use the cheat. If you look at that, oh yeah, that arrow is pointing to the right. Okay, that is it. That should help remind you of how to do this and also help you to complete the exercise in the last slide. Once you have completed it and typed your answers in, don't forget you have to go back to the Google Classroom and press the turn in button so that I get them. Okay, good luck. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'll talk to y'all soon. Okay, how do I get out of here? Technical difficulties. Just kidding. Bye, everyone.